Did you speak? Cantonese, I think.
Cantonese is no problem with me.
Putonghua?
Putonghua, no problem. And I can
English.
speak a little bit German because I studied in Deutschland.
Oh.
Yeah. Good morning, such as. This means good morning. Yes. I stayed in Germany for more than 5 years. And my wife also, he got a PhD there. We studied economics. So.
Perhaps you met the German, perhaps your wife.
You met your wife in Germany?
No, we were classmates in the university.
Why studying German? You met,
because,
you find
well,
good friend. Oh.
Yes, good question. By that time, we sent by the government. We didn't have any choice to go the country like America or Canada or Japan. So we sent by the government directly. They said you go to Germany, so we go to Germany. So, but that is happened only last century, the 1980s. But now it's totally different. We can choose any country we want to go.
That's right.
Yes.
Much
So
change.
this is a big
Much
change.
yes.
It's a huge change. Yeah.
Right.
It's great. So shall we start? Everything is okay? It's okay?
It's okay.
Okay, it's okay. So we can start. So it's really great time to meet you here again. Since I met you 2007, I still remember everything, every details. It's beautiful, and this is really great time to meet you here again. The purpose of this interview, if you allowed me to make a very brief remark, is directly to somebody in Beijing, and they are very interesting to listen to you this time. I know this is really great time to have this conversation because the Beijing want to understand you, your new thinking, your new position, everything. So, frankly, I will ask you some questions, maybe 3, very directly, very brief, very sharp. So if you understand, you can give me a reply. I'm really appreciate. Whatever you want to say, what kind of thing you want to say, will be directly to Beijing. This is my major purpose for this conversation. So if you allow me to start.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, the third plenary session of the 18th CPC Central Committee has just announced the public even to the world that the new leadership will take some new reforms, covered 15 areas: economic, political, social, government rules, rule of law. Everything will be start the new things. They start a new journey. So, if you could tell me what's your comments for these very key meetings given by the CPC Central Committee. So could you just tell me what's your first match of this?
Thank you. Indeed, I'm very happy having this meeting, interview. As you mentioned, this interview will reach in Peking and mainland China. So it is something very important. So sometimes, due to lack of contact, and sometimes to say misunderstanding, so that sometimes creates unnecessary problem. So this kind of interview or talk is very helpful in order to get the real picture. Now, your question. Of course, almost whole my life is a very close connection with the development in People's Republic of China. So I usually look 4 eras. Now, including today, 5 era. first Chairman Mao's era. Or Chairman Mao Zedong, I personally, you see, know several meetings when 1954, 55. Oh, great revolutionary, really great sort of, I think hero. I think it's the early part of his sort of life during revolution work in Yan'an, what would you call it? The cave, Yemen, isn't it? Kasati.
Yemen.
Yemen. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. And then at the early part, I think really, really, really wonderful. I think under the leadership of Chairman Mao and the Communist Party,
Yes.
I think really made, I think, tremendous sort of contribution. So Chairman Mao's period very much emphasis importance of ideology. Then Deng Xiaoping era, he emphasizes more important economy. Sometimes he may be a little negative about ideology.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter capitalism or socialism.
Exactly.
So long you see people's living standard improve. That's more important.
Yeah.
So you see his new initiative, I think, really brought big change in people from China. Economic condition much improved. Now, several hundred, I think, millions of people's living standard much sort of improved. Then Jiang Zemin era. Because now you see because of economic liberalization, the middle class people also increase, and then also billionaires also used to come. So these not only new class but also quite influential in the society.
Right.
So therefore, the Jiang Zemin, the saw now the Communist Party no longer just represent working class people. So three represents. This concept you should develop. Then Wu Jintao era, because now the gap rich and poor, and also the coastal areas economic condition and interior area differences.
Yeah.
And then also in the past, working class people certain right they take for granted. Now these also then sometimes a little bit difficult. So therefore, and then you see the gap rich and poor. This also become very serious. So therefore, the Wu Jintao now particularly emphasizes the promotion of harmonious society.
That's right.
These things, I think, really shows the same party, Communist Party, have the ability, according new reality, and act accordingly.
Yeah.
More realistic way. So now, fifth era, Xi Jinping era. It seems now, firstly, I think as a People's Republic of China, as a, the country most populated nation in the whole world, 1.34 billion population, and the Congo, long history. Basically, generally speaking, China is cultured people of Chinese, Chinese brothers, sisters. I think long history and cultured people and hardworking. and realistic. I noticed wherever you see they live, America, India, or Malaysia, or Indonesia, wherever they live, you see their economic condition very good. They easily adopt the new environment, and through their own hard work, you see their economic condition, you see very good. And then meantime they keep their tradition, Chinese tradition. So now the new leadership, I think I'm quite sure now reality is changing, whole world things are changing. So the great nation, people from China, there is potential because of ancient, most populated nation. Now economy also now grow quite well. Therefore, people from China can take important constructive role on the global level. Although things are being opened, economic liberalization, and that opened more wider contact with outside world. Now people from China, I think in global issues such as also the environment issue and some other sort of issue, world peace, in many fields, I think people from China can make significant contribution. So for that reason, firstly, within China, now, I mean, frankly speaking, still there are a lot of problems.
Yes.
So we have to sort of accept the problem and then face these problems. It is better, you see, face this problem and tackle and accept. Sometimes you see people, you see, there is a problem, but seems no problem. That's not much sort of helpful. So must be realistic, must accept, must face the reality. So now, after Xi Jinping, you see, take the responsibility. You see, it seems now even before, you see, his sort of tackle about corruption. So it seems quite serious.
Yes.
And quite courageous.
Yes.
And also, you see, seems to see man of action.
Yes.
You see, nice words, not stop on that. You see the action.
Exactly.
Implement.
Exactly. Yes.
So that I very much impressed. Courageous leader, with courageous leader. Now this recent meeting, the party meeting, although I did not sort of get the full picture, but seems firstly, out of which many points you mentioned, Xi Jinping very much concerned about farmers, countryside.
Yeah.
I think basically India, as well as China, farmland. The farmers are very, very important. Sometimes I feel, you see, too much industry and little bit neglect about farming. Then we cannot eat machines.
No.
Finally, you see, our stomach must have filled by the farmers' sort of production.
Exactly.
That's most important now. And because, you see, recently I met some, of course now, these years, number of Chinese from mainland China coming to see me. And some poor peasant also I met. they are dressed very poor, and without the soap, no, very poor, and face also very, very poor. I asked their condition. Seems a very sad sort of situation. The local people, local officials, not much pay attention about these poor people. Sort of, they are right, or their well-being. So that now President Xi Jinping is mentioned these things. I think very good. And then these poor people also is mentioned to me when they face some problem. There's no proper protection, no rule, proper rule. So they are really helpless. So therefore, Xi Jinping is mentioned about the rule of law.
Rule of law, yes.
Or about the legal system. I think that also is a very important. I often expressing the People's Republic of China, the judiciary system, must sort of uplift on the international level to the judiciary system. That I think that very, very important. I consider this. I think that I always is expressing when I met some Chinese friend. So now I felt this is a sort of beginning, to reach that level. I think that's wonderful. Then meantime, I also expressing 1.3 billion Chinese people, or 3 or 4 billion Chinese people, have every right to know the reality. Once the great people knows the reality, they also have the ability judge right or wrong.
Exactly.
So therefore, and after all, the People's Republic of China, the very name People's Republic and People's Government. So ultimately, Communist Party is representing of the 1 billion, over 1 billion to the population. People's Party. So therefore, you see, I mean, a little bit sort of blunt. I usually call the too much censorship. Censorship,
yes.
Is not right. I think transparency is very, very essential. After all, the party really dedicated well-being of the people, of the country. So every their work should be open, transparent. This, I think, very, very important for unity, harmony. Unity, harmony, stability must come from heart. Once people have trust, then unity comes. So therefore, I think this sort of new initiative, I think, really affect people's sort of trust. And then unity, stability automatically come. Unity among sort of different, or say, the ethnic groups also, you see, it is very, very important. Much to say, ultimately, trust is the key factor. So I think these initiatives really very, very sort of was effective. I think very good sort of start. So, but sometimes I sort of expressing, you see, of course, initiative, wonderful, but we have to wait, see the result or real implementation. So as I mentioned earlier, now Xi Jinping seems to be man of action. So I'm quite sort of confident. I think he really implement what he sort of said, I think.
Yeah.
Then I think many problems which domestically you see facing some problem, these automatically reduce or disappear or solve. So now I'm looking forward next few years under his leadership, what kind of thing happen.
Yeah, this is a really good comments. You just gave me a very general pictures about the 4 generations, the leadership, and I just want to focus on the Xi Jinping leadership because this is new leadership has very good start with their own working styles and the people trust them. They made a very good start. So what's your comments on the Xi Jinping's leadership and his group with their works right now? And do you have confidence? Also, I understand you mentioned this earlier, but I want to emphasize that do you have full confidence with this leadership and with China's future? Do you have?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Not only just myself, some my friend in India and also some other country. They say those people who met Xi Jinping and also Li Keqiang, Prime Minister. See, many of them, she told me, they very much impressed. So you see, they speak what they are really feeling, express, not just a reading.
Yes.
No,
No, that is boring. Yes.
So you see, seems as I mentioned earlier, I think party have the ability to act according new reality. Now new reality, more open, more sort of direct sort of work, and an effective sort of rule is very, very important. So that I think Xi Jinping seems already now committed that way. So I'm quite quite sort of confident. I think things under his leadership, I think things will be more concrete, positive result may come.
Yes.
Of course, as a Buddhist monk, although sometimes I myself, also express to people the effect of prayer, I believe, limited. Real effect come from action, not prayer. However, I want to pray his work successful on what his aim is. China, people from China. You see, domestically or internationally become something really happy, stable, and good image. That I really feel, I pray.
Yes. I just want to ask another question.
And I would like to mention,
yes, please.
Regarding the Tibet problem, since 1974, we made up in our mind. Now, the question of independence is unrealistic.
Okay.
Now, and then later, so you see, we develop the certain right which mentioned in the Constitution. These rights should implement fully. That's our main sort of, demand or main wish. Then later, now time passes, economy also now really develop. So therefore, remain within the People's Republic of China is our own interest. We Tibetan also want modernized Tibet.
Good.
For that reason, you see, the People's Republic remain within the People's Republic of China.
Yeah.
We get, you see, plenty of money, so we can develop. Meantime, our own cultural heritage, including our language,
Must be protected.
all this, the Constitution also is recognize these things.
Yes.
So this fully protect
Yeah.
and take care fully about the environment. Tibetan environment is something, because of high altitude and dry climate, is quite delicate.
Yes.
Some Chinese ecologist one time he wrote an article. He mentioned Tibetan plateau is third pole. Reason, effect from Tibetan plateau for global warming, he found as much as North Pole and South Pole. Therefore, he described Tibetan plateau is third pole. So even global warming, the Tibetan plateau is something very important to keep, to preserve. Clear?
Yes.
So therefore, you see, so we fully committed, remain within the People's Republic of China, is for our own interest.
Okay.
So therefore, you see, more prosperity, good image of People's Republic of China, and more trust, more respect from rest of the world, and carry some constructive, important role on the global level by People's Republic of China. It's really, we really want that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very good. I fully understand what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. This is a really good points. And if I may ask another question about the future of China. You know, the China grows very rapidly. It has a great influence, not in the regional area, but also in the world. So many, I mean, the international community, you know, respect China more and more. So the future for China, especially after this new leadership take office, is hopefully to get more progress in every areas, in every progress. The people, you know, has a great hopeful or the confidence with the China. So how do you comments about the future of China? I mean, the nation, the country, in the global stage.
As I already mentioned, you see, there is real potential. Now some Chinese, their aim, China should become one superpower.
Superpower, yes.
It's a legitimate right, because of the population size.
Yes.
And ancient nation. So now, I think the military power there in order to become superpower.
You know, the people like to talk about this.
And then economy power also now.
That is true, yes.
And population power there. Now, I think respect, trust from the rest of the world, and particularly neighboring states, that I think important. So I think a new leadership, I hope you should pay more attention, close relation with these, firstly, neighboring states, like India. Now India, now last almost now 55 years now, India is my second home.
Yeah.
And historically, all our spiritual sort of knowledge come from India. So we have very close link. So the close relation between India and China is very, very important.
Yes.
Unity, close relation on the basis of mutual trust is not only two countries' interest, but also interest for whole Asia and even whole world world peace, I think the unity between India and China, most of two populated nation, isn't it?
Yeah.
And historically very close. So then Japan also is very, very important. Also geographically, the land quite small, but people really modern. Among the Asian country, Japan is the most modernized, technologically modernized nation.
Yes.
And it's culturally very close, China and Japan. So it's a good relation, not just to the money matter or political matter, but really as a human to human being. That sort of relation. I always consider, whenever I go, whenever I give talk, I always consider myself as another human being.
Yes.
Human to human being.
Yeah.
That's fundamental level.
Yeah.
Sometimes we neglect about fundamental level, sameness of humanity, but secondary level, different religious faith, different culture, different nationality, too much emphasis on that.
Yes.
That sometimes is causing problem. So I really feel important close relation, trust, relation based on trust and respect. Then I think China, people of China, really can work effectively on global issue like that.
Yeah, it's great. Yes, I fully understand and fully agree with you. You just talked absolutely excellent, and your opinions, your analysis are so important to someone in Beijing. I think this is a really positive conversation, and this is really good for the new start maybe between you and China. I hope so, because you have just mentioned that the new leadership, President Xi Jinping, his working style is different with the others, and he's a very practical man, put everything in action immediately after saying something. So this is really good. If you can just tell me briefly that if you have any good suggestions or advice to the new leadership, if we want to say, if we want to express to them, I would be very happy to listen. And I think they will be very happy to listen to you because you're so smart, so talented person. We are very respect you very, very much. So would you please just say some advice?
Basically, you see, huge country, huge problem.
That's right. This is the reality.
How to tackle this problem, I think they know best. I do not know.
No. I'm sure they want to listen to you in some way because you are so important.
I think my sort of special sort of field, or my interest is human value. Human value means from our birth, we already equipped a seed of affection, love, compassion. All social animals biologically have that sort of that potential or that experience. Even animal, we also have. Now sometimes, many parts of the world, corruption, injustice, bully, exploitation, even religious people. Sometimes religion used for instrument of exploitation.
Understand, yes.
So all this ultimately lack of moral principle. Now over billion population, ancient nation, now really need pay more attention about basic human value, honest, truthful, more compassionate. That's very, very important.
What about the compromise?
Now that's through education. Use also the common sense.
Yes.
Now many scientists, now last over 30 years, I have sort of series of dialogue with many scientists now, over 30 years.
Yeah.
Mainly from America and also Europe and also from Japan. Now the scientists, through their investigation, experiment,
Yes.
warm-hearted person, blood pressure reduce,
Uh-huh.
stress much reduce.
That's right.
So as a result, the person much happier.
Uh-huh.
Too much self-centered attitude, too much ego. And then, you see, fear, anger, hatred, actually eating our immune system. So for our own health, peace of mind is very, very essential. So wherever I go, I always talking. Now, we are human beings, we are a social animal.
Yes.
You see, we need, human affection, human compassion.
这是
That is
普通话翻译。
not
国人听到吗？
necessarily come from
123
religion,
123
No.
听到吗？
but biologically we
123
already
123
equipped.
Yeah.
Now,
现在是
today,
在试声
world
音，
population
可以吗
around
？OK，
7 billion
Yes.
human population.
Yeah.
Out of 7 billion, over 1 billion essentially non-believer. So sometimes the people had the wrong impression. The concept of compassion is something religious sort of matter. So
Yeah.
those people who have not much interest about religion, they also neglect about these values. Result, very unhappy person.
Yes.
Some of my sort of friend,
Yeah.
some American billionaire,
Yes.
very rich, but as a person, very unhappy person.
Yeah. Yes.
Too much stress,
That's
too much
right.
anxiety.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So that I really, you see, that now this is one opportunity I really, you see, feel China,
Yeah.
cultured people,
Yes.
or like Confucius sort of teaching this, you see, respect, love, it's the key factor
Yes.
as a human being.
And this is all our traditions.
So
we have
these
to-
are,
yes.
these are, I think, and
Yes.
Buddhism, China.
Yes. Yes.
Basically,
Yes.
historically, Buddhist country.
Yes.
So Buddhist tradition. Now, number of scientists really showing interest about Buddhist psychology.
Yes.
So I have me, one half Buddhist monk, half scientist. So you see,
that.
dealing with these scientists
Yes.
last, as I mentioned earlier, over 30 years.
That's right.
So really useful. You see, how to tackle the mental problem
Exactly. Yes.
and the society problem.
Yes.
How to build happy individual, through that way, happy family, happy community. So these are also, I think, the new leadership.
Yes.
I think really worthwhile. Pay some attention about our deeper human values,
Good.
mainly through education.
Yes, very good. I learned a lot from you, just like take a lesson from you. This is a really good opportunity to listen to you. I think the people, the people in China or somebody in Beijing also interesting to listen to you very carefully. Thank you very much. Our time is almost here. Thank you very much again. And I wish you all successful and all wonderful. Thank you very much.